Go and push him again.
When lockdown restrictions were announced in March, just 4 months later, 30-year-old Christopher Eildon, who had no history of mental health issues, had taken his own life. He died in hospital with his family by his side.
I've missed obviously going out and seeing people.
I probably miss clubbing because I only got to go once, and it was like because my birthday was the Friday just before lockdown happened.
I'd say probably the gym and like the variety in what you can do.
Mainly the gym, and then also going out with friends.
I couldn't really do like gym kind of stuff at home, so it's nice to go back there definitely.
You know, I think with a lot of our friendship groups at uni, you come and make new friends outside of your own block and your own flat and your bubble, so not being able to see them in person for, what was it, like 4 months at a time was quite difficult.
I never thought that I would miss museums throughout lockdown, but you know, we got the box in Plymouth and I always walk past it and I've always fancied going, and I went there the other day and I really enjoyed it. It was really nice to be able to see people in there and, you know, learn about the history of Plymouth, because obviously I just moved here in September, but I never thought I would miss museums as much as I did, and I found it really relaxing and a really nice experience. And also like just be able to go out for lunch, like obviously I miss the pubs and drinking, but it's just really nice to go out for lunch with a mate.
I've missed just sort of being able to go and do things a lot.
The number of people now experiencing severe mental illnesses has increased since the last lockdown.
I think lockdown really impacted my mental health. I know it is the same for a lot of people as well.
Mental health wasn't massively affected, but it wasn't as good as it was without lockdown.
I sort of reached pretty much a low point.
I was just bored a lot of the time just because there was a lot less to do.
Coming to uni and then with the lockdowns after that, I sort of like, I was not in the best state, obviously, because it was lockdown.
Especially living in halls, just being in the same room, like all the time.
And obviously not seeing people, it can get a bit lonely.
It's a really depressing atmosphere sometimes.
The real pandemic is mental health, that people, especially the younger generation, are struggling with. Everything they've ever known has just been taken away, and then there's a new set of rules.
Yeah, it's always been an issue, and I feel like now it's, especially in more modern times, it's definitely getting more attention, which is definitely needed.
Mental health cases and numbers and the severity would definitely have increased.
I think yes, because lots of people have been really lonely, not been able to see people, see their friends, see their family, do things that we normally enjoy, so that's never going to make anyone feel good.
With the way all the lockdowns proceeded, you get out of one, you'd see the brightness, and like you think you're at the end of it, and then 3 or 4 months later you're back into another. You know, it was like 1 step forward, 2 steps back for a lot of people.
I also think in quite a lot of circumstances it could be that someone had already had mental health conditions, they just didn't realise because they were kind of distracted by everything else that was going on in their life.
Obviously there are going to be some that just completely miss out on everything, especially during a lockdown, and it's just that's terrible.
But then when it got to a point where they didn't have any of those things and all they could do was just like sit and think for periods of time, that they kind of began to realise, if that makes sense.
The pandemic would have caused a lot longer, a deeper harm on mental health than people really think about.
We're a lot more accepting of mental health now than we ever have been before, so it's kind of natural that it's going to be spoken about more.
We're doing it so that we can prevent other people from getting the virus. It improves it, but it's still very difficult to just sort of lock yourself away from the world, especially when you've already done that and then been allowed to come out, but then only to go back into like lockdown.
There's no way people's mental health haven't been affected by everything that's gone on.
I think we won't know the extent of the mental health damage from the pandemic for a long time.
Mental health issues as a whole will be more damaging in the long term than COVID ever could be. So that's kind of what we need to focus on.
We were always just stuck in this flat for so many months. I think we were all just a bit on top of each other. And like, you know, first year of uni, we haven't really had the opportunity to meet that many people.
I mean, I've been really lucky because I've had a really great uni experience, like especially in more recently, but like I could see how it could very much be the opposite, how it could be very isolated.
I've started to like watch a lot of films, like more than I did beforehand. There's not much else to do in lockdown really.
I think because the library was still open, I spent a lot more time doing work and revision and stuff, which is obviously quite a good thing in the grand scheme of things. And it was nice to kind of save money, if that makes sense. So like seeing what other options you could do. Obviously as a student you don't have loads of money, so that was quite nice too. I was kind of just making use of what I could still do.
You become close with the people you live with, which really helped. So you're sort of forced to get close to each other.
I think I definitely got closer to the people I was seeing more, kind of as expected. Over the summer, it was a lot harder to see my friends from school, so you could just kind of drift apart more than you would do if you'd still been at school, because obviously you're seeing them more. I'll probably still go for walks and stuff outside, because that's really nice. You kind of don't appreciate like small things like that till you don't have any other option.
I probably wouldn't really change much. I'll go try and get back to as normal as possible.
The government has told us they recognise the impact this unprecedented period is having on people's mental health.
To really like just how important mental health is, and that how important it is to focus on yourself.
Everyone's in the same boat.
You know, like be comfortable and be happy when you're alone and not with other people, because you know a lot of lockdown was just spending it alone in your room, so it's really important to surround yourself with nice people but also just feel happy when you're on your own. I'm really grateful for the friends that I have made this year. I've been lucky that I've got a nice friendship group.
We've been through so much, and I don't know, that just sort of like feels nice. Nice bit of comfort for me, I think. But yeah.